All right, guys, if you're a man over 60, I need you to listen up. I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say, because what you do in the privacy of your own room, yes, that thing you might even be embarrassed to discuss with your doctor, could be determining how many more years you're going to live. And more importantly, how you're going to live them. Just 2 weeks ago, a gentleman named Miguel, 68 years old, walked into my office. He had that familiar mix of shame and worry in his eyes that I've seen hundreds of times before. "Doc, I need to ask you something, but I don't know how to start," he said, shifting uncomfortably in his chair. And right then, I knew exactly what he wanted to talk about. It's something nearly every man wonders about, but so few have the courage to ask. My name is Dr. Olivia Grant. With over 20 years of experience treating men just like you, I'm here today to talk openly, with no taboos and no beating around the bush, just as if we were alone in my office. The truth about ejaculation in your prostate is far more surprising than you can imagine. That little walnut-sized gland you have down there, the one you probably never even think about until it starts causing trouble, could hold the key to understanding why some men sail into their 80s with enviable health, while others are battling cancer in their 60s. And the most shocking part? The answer might lie in something as simple, as natural, as how often you ejaculate. Yes, you heard me right. And don't blush, this is pure, hard science. Miguel nearly fell out of his chair when I explained what I'm about to share with you now. But first, let me tell you something that will really get you thinking. Imagine your prostate is a small, dedicated factory located just below your bladder, working day and night. Its main job is to produce that clear, sticky fluid that makes up a large part of your semen. This prostatic fluid isn't just filler either. It's a nutrient-rich cocktail packed with zinc, citric acid, and vital enzymes, all perfectly designed to protect and transport sperm on their journey. But here's where it gets interesting. The prostate doesn't work alone. It's like an orchestra, where every instrument plays a crucial part. The seminal vesicles, those two little pouches attached to the prostate, contribute most of the volume, a sugary fluid rich in fructose to give the sperm energy for their long swim. And the testicles? Well, they only provide about 1% of the total volume, but it's the most important 1%, the sperm themselves. All of this is mixed together in a perfect symphony to form semen. And when the moment of ejaculation arrives, oh boy, that's where the magic happens. It's a fascinating process that unfolds in 2 acts, like a Broadway play. First comes the emission phase. All these different fluids gather in the urethra, waiting like actors in the wings, ready for their cue. Then, with the right stimulation, comes the second act, expulsion. The muscles of your pelvic floor contract with impressive force, launching everything outward. It's a perfect ballet that relies on flawless communication between nerves and muscles. That's why, when Miguel asked if his diabetes could affect this process, I told him yes, absolutely. Diabetes can damage those delicate nerves and disrupt the entire show. But what Miguel really wanted to know, and what you're probably wondering too, is whether holding it in is bad. Can accumulating semen be harmful? And this is where things get really interesting. The direct answer is no. There is no evidence that not ejaculating by itself causes a serious disease. But wait, don't go anywhere, because that doesn't mean it's without consequences. Think of it like a river. When the water stops flowing, it becomes stagnant, murky, and heavy. Something similar can happen in your prostate, especially if you're one of the many men who suffer from chronic prostatitis, that persistent and sometimes painful inflammation of the gland. A low frequency of ejaculation can worsen the symptoms. It can increase that feeling of pelvic congestion, that uncomfortable pressure that just won't leave you alone. In fact, and this is fascinating, a study way back in 1999 observed something revealing. Men with chronic prostatitis who increased their ejaculatory frequency, whether through intercourse with a partner or through masturbation, reported significant relief from their symptoms. It's as if ejaculating cleans out the ducts, reduces the pressure, and eases the inflammation. It's like flushing out the pipes to keep things running smoothly. Miguel was staring at me with wide eyes as I explained this. "But doctor, I always thought that was bad for you," he said. "No, Miguel," I replied. "What's bad is not listening to your body." And there's something else that many men don't consider, something I learned from a 2023 study published in the journal Sleep Disorders: the quality of your sleep. It turns out that ejaculating releases a cocktail of hormones, prolactin, oxytocin, endorphins, all of which induce relaxation and deep sleep. Men who had regular sexual activity, especially when it ended in orgasm, slept better, woke up less during the night, and felt more rested in the morning. So, beyond the pleasure, an active sex life might just be the best natural and free sleeping pill there is. But now, hold on tight, because here comes the part I know many of you have been waiting for. The million-dollar question. Does ejaculating infrequently increase your risk of prostate cancer? Or, to put it another way, does ejaculating more protect you? Science has been asking this question for decades, and the findings are, to say the least, surprising, impactful, and revealing. Let me just take a sip of water. And while I do, if you're finding this information valuable, if you feel like this is something more men should know, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It's free for you, but for me, it means the world. It helps me continue creating honest, no-nonsense health content. I truly appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to what Harvard University discovered. The largest and most important study on this topic followed nearly 32,000 men for 18 years. 32,000! That's like tracking an entire city. And what they found changed the way we understand prostate health forever. Those men who reported ejaculating 21 or more times a month, yes, you heard that correctly, 21 or more, had up to a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those who ejaculated only 4 to 7 times a month. A 33% lower risk? That is a massive difference. This is critically important here in the United States, where the American Cancer Society estimates that about 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. It's the second leading cause of cancer death for American men, right behind lung cancer. So, a potential 33% reduction in risk is something we have to take seriously. And here's a key detail I want you to burn into your memory. It didn't matter how the ejaculation was achieved. It made absolutely no difference if it was with a partner or through masturbation. It didn't matter if it was at dawn or at midnight. The protective effect seemed to be linked to the physical act of ejaculation itself, not sexual activity, not romance, not having a partner, but the simple physiological event of ejaculating. Miguel could hardly believe it. "But doctor, I'm a widower," he told me, his voice filled with sadness. "That doesn't matter, Miguel," I replied gently. "Your health doesn't depend on having a partner. It depends on you taking care of yourself." And I saw his eyes light up with a newfound sense of hope. Other studies have since confirmed these findings. A paper in 2017, a large meta-analysis in 2018, all pointing in the same direction. Higher frequency, lower risk. The consistency of these results is so strong, so clear, that it forces us to ask, why does this happen? What's the secret mechanism behind this protection? And this is where it gets truly fascinating. There isn't one single answer, but the scientific community has several leading hypotheses, like pieces of a puzzle. The first and most intuitive is what we call the flush-out hypothesis. Think of your prostate as a sponge with tiny ducts. Over time, potentially harmful substances, carcinogens from the environment, from tobacco if you smoke, from processed foods, can accumulate in the prostatic fluid. Each ejaculation acts like a cleaning, a rinse cycle that expels these substances before they have time to damage the cells. If you don't ejaculate frequently, these toxins remain in contact with the prostate tissue for longer, increasing the probability of causing mutations, changes in the DNA that could eventually lead to a tumor. It's like washing dishes. If you let them sit dirty for too long, bacteria grow, gunk sticks, and they become much harder to clean. The second theory involves hormones, and this is crucial. Frequent ejaculation might help maintain a healthier hormonal balance within the prostate, regulating levels of testosterone and other androgens. When these levels are balanced, cell growth is kept in check. But when they get out of whack, cells can start to grow uncontrollably, and that's where the trouble begins. A third idea, which I personally find brilliant, is that sexual activity acts similarly to physical exercise. It stimulates the immune system. That's the army of defenders we have inside us. And it doesn't just fight off viruses and bacteria. It also hunts down cancer cells. An active, alert immune system is more effective at detecting and eliminating abnormal cells before they become a serious problem. And finally, the muscle contractions during orgasm, those powerful rhythmic contractions, improve blood flow throughout the pelvic region, reduce local inflammation, and decrease oxidative stress, that silent enemy that ages our cells. All of this creates an environment that is less hospitable for cancer to develop. Miguel interrupted me at this point. So, doctor, how many times do I have to ejaculate a month? 21, like the study says? And here, I want to be crystal clear because this is fundamental. That number, 21, is not a medical prescription. It is not a goal you should force yourself to meet. It is not a competition. Sexual health doesn't work like that. It's not like taking a pill 3 times a day. The ideal frequency for each man is completely personal, unique, and individual. It depends on your age, your general health, whether you have a partner, your energy levels, your mood, your medications, your stress levels. The list is endless. Forcing yourself to hit a number can create anxiety, stress, and frustration, which is counterproductive to your health. The cure becomes worse than the disease. What these studies are telling us isn't that we should become machines, but that a sexually active life and a regular frequency of ejaculation appear to be components of a healthy lifestyle that protects the prostate. The key, and I told this to Miguel and I'm telling it to you, is to listen to your body. Find your own rhythm, without pressure, without guilt, and without comparing yourself to anyone else. Your body will tell you what it needs. You just have to learn to listen. And that leads me to a question for you all. What are your thoughts on this? Does this research surprise you, relieve you, or even worry you? Drop a comment below. I genuinely want to hear your perspectives and different experiences. And while you're typing, don't forget to grab a glass of water. Hydration is also essential for prostate health. But hold on, because we're about to tackle a crucial topic that worries so many men, especially those who have already had prostate issues. What happens to my ejaculation if I have surgery? I get this question almost every day, And the answer isn't simple because it depends on the type of surgery. First, let's talk about the most common procedure, the one done for a benign enlarged prostate, or BPH. That's the very common condition where the prostate grows and grows until it squeezes the urethra, making it difficult to urinate. Robert, another one of my patients, 72 years old, came to my office because he couldn't sleep anymore. He was getting up 6 or 7 times a night to urinate, and when he did, only a few drops would come out. It was torture. In these cases, the surgery aims to unclog the pipe. The surgeon removes the inner tissue causing the obstruction, but leaves the outer capsule of the prostate intact. It's like coring an apple, or scooping the fruit out of an orange while leaving the peel. And here's the most common consequence: retrograde ejaculation. What does that mean? I'll explain it simply.
During orgasm, the semen, instead of being expelled outward, goes backward into the bladder. This happens because the surgery alters that little gateway, the internal sphincter, which normally closes to prevent this. It's as if a door between 2 rooms no longer shuts properly. Now, it is crucial that you understand this. You will still have orgasms. The sensation of pleasure will be exactly the same. Your erection doesn't have to be affected. You simply won't see semen come out. Robert looked worried when I explained this to him before his surgery. "But doctor, does that make me less of a man?" he asked. "No, Robert," I said, taking his hand. "You are still the same man. Your body just works a little differently now. This semen that goes into the bladder causes no harm whatsoever. It's eliminated harmlessly when you urinate. It just takes a different exit route, that's all. Many men adapt to this perfectly, and their sex lives continue to be fulfilling. But the second type of surgery is very different, much more radical. This is the one performed for prostate cancer, the radical prostatectomy. Here, the goal is to save your life, to cure the cancer. To do that, the entire prostate is removed, along with the seminal vesicles. It's like demolishing the whole factory, not just emptying it out. By removing these organs, semen production ceases completely. No factory, no product. Therefore, after this surgery, there is no ejaculation. None. You can still feel an orgasm, what we call a dry orgasm, that sensation of climax and pleasure, but there will be no expulsion of fluid. And I have to be honest here, this surgery is far more complex and carries 2 significant risks I cannot fail to mention. Urinary incontinence, losing control of your urine, and erectile dysfunction, the difficulty or inability to get an erection. This happens because the nerves responsible for erections run right alongside the prostate, like electrical wires next to a wall, and they can be damaged during the procedure. Charles, 65, with an early-stage prostate cancer diagnosis, asked me with tears in his eyes, "Doctor, is it worth it?" And I answered him with all the honesty in the world. "Charles, the question isn't if it's worth it to live like this. The question is if it's worth it to live." And with modern techniques like robotic-assisted surgery, which offer millimeter precision, surgeons can often spare those nerves and preserve function. Not always, but often. These are complex decisions made with your urology team, and in the U.S., systems like Medicare and private insurance typically cover these life-saving procedures. After everything we've talked about, all this data, these stories, these fears and hopes, I want you to leave with one clear, powerful idea. There is no magic formula to prevent prostate cancer. There's no miracle diet, no secret supplement, and no magic number of ejaculations that will save you. The most powerful tool you have, the only one that can truly make the difference between life and death, is prevention through regular medical checkups. Getting your annual checkups with a urologist, monitoring your prostate-specific antigen, that famous PSA you hear so much about, and getting a digital rectal exam when your doctor recommends it, even if it makes you feel awkward. That is what can actually save your life, because it allows for the detection of any problem while there's still time to do something about it. Miguel came back to my office a month after our first conversation. "Doctor," he said with a smile, "I made my appointment with the urologist. And you know what? I'm not embarrassed to talk about this stuff anymore. I told my friends at my weekly card game, and it turns out they all had the same questions." "That's it, Miguel," I told him. "That's how you break the silence that kills." Now, maintaining a regular ejaculation frequency seems to be beneficial. The studies are clear on that. But take it as one piece of a much larger puzzle. What are the other pieces? The ones that have been scientifically proven to be crucial. First, do not smoke. Tobacco is poison for your prostate, for your lungs, for your entire body. If you smoke, quit. Not tomorrow, today. Second, maintain a healthy weight. That beer belly isn't just a cosmetic issue. It's inflammation, it's risk, it's a disease waiting to happen. Third, eat well. More vegetables, more fruits, more fish. Less red meat, less processed junk, less sugar. Your prostate will thank you. And above all, move. A sedentary lifestyle is one of the greatest enemies of your prostate and overall health. You don't need to run marathons. A 30-minute walk each day, taking the stairs, dancing with your wife, playing with your grandkids. It all counts. It all adds up. Robert once told me, "Doc, ever since I started walking every morning, not only do I urinate better, I feel 20 years younger." And here comes a crucial warning. Be very careful with the charlatans and snake oil salesmen on the internet. The ones promising miracle cures, selling expensive potions, magical supplements, and treatments with no scientific basis. Your health is a serious matter, far too serious to be left in the hands of hucksters. If someone promises to cure your prostate with green smoothies, with magnets, with special prayers, or with anything not backed by science, run. Don't waste your money, and more importantly, don't waste your time. Time is the one thing we can never get back. And when we're talking about cancer, time is life. Look, after more than 2 decades in this profession, after seeing thousands of men walk through my office, I've learned something fundamental. The men who age best, the ones who reach their 80s with a smile, aren't the ones who found a secret formula. They are the ones who took control of their health. They are the ones who weren't ashamed to talk, to ask, to take care of themselves. Your prostate isn't your enemy. It's a part of you. And like any part of your body, it needs attention, care, and respect. Don't ignore it until it hurts. Don't wait until it's too late. Prevention isn't cowardice. It's intelligence. It's self-love. It's a responsibility to those who love you. Charles, the patient with cancer, sent me a photo last month. He's on the beach with his grandkids, building sandcastles. With his surgery behind him, with his limitations, but alive, present, and happy. That's what matters. Being here. Being able to hug, to laugh, to live one more day. If you want to learn more about how to interpret your PSA results, what to expect at your first urologist visit, or how to talk about these topics with your doctor without dying of embarrassment, I have other videos on my channel where I explain everything with the same care and clarity. No taboos, no mysteries, just science and heart. Before I sign off, let me tell you something personal. Making these videos, sharing this information, isn't just my job, it's my mission. Because every man who gets his checkups, every man who loses his fear, every man who takes control is a victory. It's a father who will see his children grow up, a grandfather who will meet his grandchildren, a husband who will grow old alongside his partner. So I'm asking you, if this video has helped you, if it has cleared up your doubts, if it has taken away your fears, please share it. Send it to that stubborn friend who refuses to see a doctor, to that brother who acts tough, to that neighbor who's suffering in silence. You have no idea the good you can do. An uncomfortable conversation today can save a life tomorrow. And please, subscribe to the channel, not for me, but for you. To keep learning, to keep taking care of yourself, and to not miss information that could change your life. Make sure you hit that notification bell, because in my next video, we're going to break down exactly what those PSA numbers mean and the new tests that are changing how we screen for prostate cancer. Hit the like button if you believe more men need to hear this. And most importantly, comment. Tell me your experience, your doubts, your fears. You are not alone in this. We are a community, and together we are stronger. Your health is non-negotiable. It cannot be postponed, and it is not optional. It is the only thing you truly have. Without it, everything else loses its meaning. So make the decision today. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, not after the holidays, today. Make that appointment. Get that test. Have that conversation. Your body is waiting. It's ready to respond. It just needs you to take the first step. And that step isn't backward in fear. It's forward in courage. Because taking care of yourself isn't for cowards. It's for the brave. And you are far braver than you think. Miguel discovered it. Robert discovered it. Charles discovered it. Now it's your turn. What are you going to do? Are you going to remain silent, or are you going to take control? The decision, like your health, is in your hands. Until next time, and remember, the best doctor you'll ever have is yourself, on the day you decide to take care of you.